Welcome back to another edition of the Futbol Forever podcast, a podcast where we talk about the Liga MX and everything going on around Mexican football. Alright, I'm going to keep it real with you, Chief. When I pressed record to start this podcast, I didn't know what the hell I was going to talk about. I'm just being honest, man. We're going to roll with it, though. We're going to I didn't want to skip out a podcast for the week. And I'll explain why I'm not prepared and I don't have anything planned to talk about. I'll tell you now. Might as well. Why not, right? So this weekend, I kind of took a weekend off from football, man. I feel like I didn't watch a single match aside from I caught the América versus Tijuana match. I got to see Diego Lainez's goal, but aside from that, I really didn't catch any football. And you know, you could probably review my Twitter. My timeline for this weekend, and yeah, I didn't really tweet out anything for the most part. I don't remember, man. Maybe I caught a highlight here and there that I commented on, but I don't remember. I think I just took the weekend completely off, which I feel like my girlfriend probably appreciated. But yeah, I got to see the América versus Tijuana here and there. I did watch it on my mobile phone because I wasn't home. I was out and about on this Oktoberfest sort of event. I don't even know what it was, but I was having a brew and I was watching the match on my phone. You know, as much as you can enjoy a match on your mobile device, you know, the sound was muted. I didn't want to be that weird, you know, that guy that's watching sports on his phone and then, you know, blasting it out there. So I had it on mute, obviously, but you know, that's pretty much all I watched. Usually I wake up on the weekend and my weekend starts with me catching a Premier League match early in the morning. But this weekend was different. I just kind of took the weekend completely off. I didn't catch, aside from the Tijuana América match, I didn't catch any other Liga MX action, man. And I guess it's kind of nice. No, I know I missed some partidazos. I know I missed some good matches. The Pumas versus Tigres match, a 3-3 draw in the Olímpico Universitario. That one was a hell of a match. I saw some of the highlights there. The VAR match, the first game in the Liga MX with VAR implemented, Atlas and Veracruz 4-3. That one was, I guess you can't say, I mean, it's a ton of goals, but I guess it wasn't, I guess you can't say it was a partidazo. It wasn't a hell of a match. I think it was a freaking circus, man. I guess that's the descriptor you can use for that match. I was, you know, keeping up with how the teams were doing on Twitter, but I wasn't watching any of the matches. So it was nice, I guess. From time to time, you got to do that. You got to give your brain and give yourself a little refresher and a little weekend off. And you know, like I said, my girlfriend for sure appreciated it. So anyways, we're back though. And I guess what we can talk about in this podcast is what's supposed to be the game of the tournament, the game of the season this weekend in the Liga MX. You know what I'm talking about. Number 1 versus number 2. América being number 1, Cruz Azul being number 2. That's what we're going to talk about. The Cruz Azul versus América match, man, in the Estadio Azteca this Saturday night. At what time is it? At 9 p.m. Central. It's a damn late match, man. I don't like matches that are at 9 p.m. because if it's at 7, and let's say you're planning to go out on Saturday night, if it's at 7 p.m., then you know that the match ends at 9 for the most part, and yeah, you can still go out. But if the match is at 9, it ends at 11. That's a little too late to be leaving the house. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe some will say, yeah, right. That's when my night is starting, but not for me, man. Not for me. Like you can't. I for the most part don't party anymore. You know, the college days are behind me, so I'm not going out at 11 p.m. I'm not going to catch a movie at 11 p.m. Man. Most restaurants will be closed by then, so. I don't enjoy 11 p.m. or 9 p.m. you know, matches for the most part. It sucks that this match is at 9 because I can't miss it for the world. So I'm for sure not taking a weekend off this upcoming weekend because I gotta watch this match. If there's one match I gotta watch, it's gotta be this one, man. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and preview the match. An América team that is coming off of 2 back-to-back wins. They defeated Tigres on the road, and now at home they beat Tijuana 3-0. A game that, sure, on just looking at the score, it was like, damn, América dominated. And for the most part, they had major control of the match, but not everything was positive for Club América, especially not towards the beginning of the match. From what I can tell, remember, I watched this match from my mobile phone on mute. So I wasn't fully paying attention. I also had to interact with some people here and there. But yeah, from what I could tell, América, it wasn't all just, sunshine and rainbows. Although the scoreboard, 3-0, yeah, that tells you that, América was the deserving team. But, it wasn't that easy. Tijuana definitely had their opportunities that they couldn't put away. And América, being América, man, they're extremely efficient. They're the best offense in the tournament. And another, I guess, interesting match or detail from this Cruz Azul versus América matchup this Saturday is that it's the best defense versus the best offense. Cruz Azul in the best defense and América with the best offense. That's something else that has to have your attention and it has to keep you intrigued, man. This match should be on paper the best match, the best match that we've witnessed this season. Now we know that both teams might come out and it might be a chess match. They might be extremely tactical and without they might not risk a lot. Neither team probably wants to make mistakes. So let's hope that's not the case. I don't want to see a draw unless it's at least 2 goals per team. Maybe a 2-2 wouldn't be too bad, but I don't want to see kind of like the Clásico América versus Chivas. I thought it was a good match. It was thrilling. It was exciting. Not the best football played, but a 1-1. I don't want to see that with Cruz Azul and América. I want to see them go, head to head, toe to toe, blow for blow, 3-3 maybe like Pumas and Tigres did this weekend. That's what I would like to see, but it's highly unlikely because Cruz Azul has a very, very good defense, and América, they're not bad on defense. I think they're top 5 in the league, if I'm not mistaken, maybe top 6. I don't know. But yeah, this should be a thrilling match, and a Cruz Azul team who should come with some inertia, with some momentum, because they qualified to the Copa MX finals. They're going to face off against Monterrey, and they punched their ticket to the finals this Wednesday night in the Estadio Azteca, defeating León via penalties. So it wasn't easy for Cruz Azul, and it should have been a little bit easier for them because León was playing with 10 men since the 19th minute of the match, when Mauro Boselli actually got sent off for an elbow. I saw the replay, and wow, it wasn't like a brutal elbow because Mauro Boselli is not a dirty player. I think we can all agree on that. It wasn't a brutal elbow, but I think he did make contact, and hey man, rules are rules. I don't know what he was doing with his elbows that high up. He made contact with the Cruz Azul player, and he got the red card. So I think it was just. I think that was deserved. It sucks because it kind of, I don't want to say it ruined the match, because the match got really excited and thrilling towards the end when Cruz Azul actually got the equalizer. They went full-on attack, and León was really just trying to survive. With 10 men, bravo, respect to León for even getting to penalties, because they made it tough on Cruz Azul. But nonetheless, La Máquina is moving on. And like I said, they're facing off against Monterrey in the Copa MX finals, which also will be a hell of a match that I'm for sure looking forward to, because although Monterrey hasn't had the best season, they really haven't. They've been super inconsistent. I feel like they started off really well, and then they've just tapered off. They've gone, they did win this past weekend. They defeated Toluca 2-1. But they hasn't been the best season. Some of their key players, I guess you can say that their number one signing, Rodolfo Pizarro, hasn't been in his best form. You also have Gallardo, who was also another key signing for Monterrey, and he hasn't been in his best form. But Monterrey still on paper has a very, very strong roster, one of the strongest rosters, top 3 probably in the Liga MX. So for sure, this final is going to be very exciting, and it's one that definitely has my attention. But back to the whole the Clásico Joven, the Cruz Azul versus América match this weekend. You have a Cruz Azul team that has been stringing along some bad results in recent time. They started off with 8 weeks undefeated. a bunch of wins and only 2 draws in there. But then since facing Necaxa on the road, that was the first game they lost in week 9. And then after that, it's a win, and then the following week, a loss. A win, and then the following weekend, a loss. This past weekend, they lost 2-0 on the road versus Querétaro, a Querétaro team that has, in my opinion, one of the best offenses in Liga MX. If they could keep Sanveso, if they can keep him healthy, man, they're gonna be interesting. And I'm hoping to see Querétaro in the Liguilla, honestly, because I like the managing style and the play style that Rafa Puente Jr. imposes on his team. Marcel Ruiz I think he's 17 years old. He's a very, very interesting Mexican prospect. So I wish him well. And I was seeing on Twitter some rumors that Chivas was eyeing him and Iramier. And I fear a little bit for Marcel Ruiz, man. I just wouldn't want him to stay in Liga MX too long, man, or to go to a Tigres or a Chivas or an América and then have a ton of pressure on him to perform and kind of suffer from that. I would hate to see that, but you're already starting to hear rumors that at least Chivas is interested in him. It worries me a little bit that they're going to put too much on the kid, because on paper and, just watching him play, he's a joy, man. He's a joy. And I'm sure at Querétaro, he's not playing with a ton of pressure. He's just out there having fun and performing. So I'm enjoying a lot of Marcel Ruiz. But anyways, yeah, man, 2-0 victory for Querétaro over Cruz Azul. So Cruz Azul, over the past, few weeks since week number 9, they've been kind of inconsistent, and it was only normal, man. They weren't going to be able to keep the pace up from the first, 8 weeks that they were undefeated. There was a ton of momentum, a ton of hype behind Cruz Azul, and they've kind of just, stabilized. They kind of normalized. Their peak, was early in the season, and I would hope for Caixinha's sake and for the Cruz Azul fans' sake that they could pick it up a little bit, because although they advanced to the final of the Copa MX, like I said, they struggled versus a 10-man León team, and a León that is weaker also on paper. Man for man, I think Cruz Azul is the better team. They should have won that match, especially a lot more comfortably with, again, León having 10 men. So, we all know how the Liguilla is. We all know how the Liga MX is when you get close to playoff time. It's not about, how you get there. I said that completely wrong. It's not about what position in the table you have necessarily. Obviously, everyone would want to be first place of the league. But it depends on how you get there. You got to get there in form. You got to get there kind of like how Tigres always gets there. Tigres always starts their seasons off super slow. They get some bad results. They get a bunch of draws, etc., but then they know when to turn it on. They know when to turn up the heat, when to start getting the results. They get that momentum, they get into stride, and they arrive at the Liguilla in form with a ton of momentum. And that's really what the name of the game is. So Cruz Azul has to kind of figure it out, kick back into gear, and see if they could get to the Liguilla in better form. Now for América, man, 7 straight matches without a loss. We all know what happened to them in Copa MX, an embarrassing exit, with all due respect to Juárez. But, América was, at home. Come on, man. You cannot get eliminated by an Ascenso team. And that's exactly what happened to them. But, in the league, they've been pretty well since for a while now. 7 straight games without a loss, only 2 draws in there. So 5 wins out of those 7 matches that they haven't picked up an L. I understand that this América team is held to a very, very high standard because it's América. People don't only expect them to win. People expect them to win and look good while you're winning. So that's América. They expect them to have a certain style, to play a beautiful football, whatever you want to call it. But this América team has been very efficient, the best offense in the league. And now it's just going to be up to Miguel Herrera to make sure that this team doesn't taper off towards the end of the season. Because like you heard me say, it depends on, it really matters how you get to the Liguilla, not really at what position you get to the Liguilla. Sure, it's important because you want to close at home maybe. But you have to make sure that you arrive at the playoffs, at the Liguilla, in good form. If you don't, you might make a first round exit. So Miguel Herrera has to keep this team, high with good form and just straight up focus on that, because América's schedule to close off the season, their last 4 games are not very easy, man. They're facing off against Cruz Azul this weekend. Then they have to they have to host Toluca, then visit Santos, and then host Veracruz. So, the Veracruz match, people might say they're heavy favorites for the Veracruz match, but versus Cruz Azul, versus Toluca, and versus Santos, those are very, very difficult matches for América. So, if they lose this weekend, they have to then, bounce back against Toluca, which is not going to be easy. And then if you lose against, or you don't get a good result against Toluca, then you got to visit Santos, another title contender and the current champion. So that's, Herrera has to make sure that América stays in form, because they're at least the upcoming 3 matches are not easy for Club América. So that's the name of the game, man. How you arrive to the Liguilla, can you do it in form? And while, sure, your position in the league table is I guess important, it's not the most important thing. As we all know, Tigres always does this, man. They'll get in the 5th seed, 6th seed, I don't know, and they're always going to be there contending for the league title, because once you're in the playoffs, it's a series, man. It's anybody's game right there. So anyway, I'm definitely looking forward to this match. I'm sorry that I didn't come super prepared for the podcast with reviews of other different matches. I know I just previewed this match with Cruz Azul and América, but like I said, I took a weekend off and I didn't really want to skip out on the podcast. It's Friday, we're feeling good, so this is what I got. I hope you don't mind it too much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know if you're excited, man, for this match. If you're listening on YouTube, leave a comment, give me some feedback, ask me some questions. I can answer them in the podcast if you so wish. But yeah, man, let me know your predictions. Maybe you want to do that. Leave them in the comment section of the YouTube video if you're listening on YouTube once again. Thank you guys for listening. I am sorry that I took a weekend off, but I promise I won't do it this weekend. I'll be better prepared for the next podcast. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Futbol forever out.